Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. So in this video, as in previous videos, we're going to be talking about Python Flask and how to serve web pages on our server, which for us will be a Python development server. So in the last few videos, we went over some simple techniques for putting up multiple pages. In this one, we're going to add some more content to make those pages look more presentable, more up-to-date, and we're going to do that by adding CSS to our content, as well as some pretty good administrative ways of managing multiple websites with one or two pages. So let's go ahead and get started. So we are already in our project folder, which is I call it website. Let's do a ls to list the contents inside the website folder. So we've already got some things here. What we are interested in is this myapp.py application. As in previous videos, we run the Python development web server, and we can see multiple pages, right? So let me go ahead and open up the browser real quick, and we'll go over it. And so as you can see right here, we already have the contact page. We take that out. This will go to the home page. Oh, well, hold on. I typed it in wrong. Oh, I apologize. We got to start the web server first. So let's go ahead and start the web server. Then we'll go back to our browser. And there is our home page. Then we put in /about, and that will be our about page. And then we take out about, put in contact, or type in contact, press enter. There's our contact page. Now let's go ahead and add on some more functionality. For this video, we're going to add on some links and some CSS so that our website can look better. So let's go ahead. We're back at our web server. We're going to go ahead and stop our Python development server, and we're going to go ahead and before we start, as we've seen before, this is a code 200. That means that the web server is functioning properly and it is serving the pages that have been requested. Okay, there's the about page, there's the contact page, and this one was the home page, which on a web server is identified as the index page. Okay, so let's go ahead and clear this. Now, in this video, what we're going to need to do, let's go ahead and press ls again, is we want to go ahead and we want to, as I said, the purpose is for us to be able to serve multiple pages from one or two locations. So we're going to actually need to create some websites or some HTML files to render those websites onto our server. And in order to do that, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to make a folder, okay? And you want to make it, obviously, from within your project folder, which for us is the website folder. So we're going to make a folder, and with that, through Ubuntu Linux web server, Ubuntu server, you want to type in the command mkdir, and that command works even on Windows terminal or Windows PowerShell. So it's going to be mkdir, and then we're going to name this templates, right? That's the name, that's a default name that Flask will recognize right away. So you want to name it templates, right? And then you want to go ahead and press enter. Okay. Now we want to make one other folder. This will hold our CSS file in it. So we do the same thing. We do mkdir space, and then the default name for that will be static, right? Okay, so let's do an ls, and we should see our two newly created folders. And there's static, and there is templates. So Flask is automatically set by default to look for all HTML files in the template folder. And Flask is also automatically set by default to look for all CSS files in the static folder. This is also where you would want to put your images in the static folder. Flask will automatically look in there for the static folder in the static folder for any CSS or images as well. So let's go ahead and what we're going to do is we're going to change directories to the templates folder. That's just going to be cd space, then we're going to type in templates and press enter. Now this folder is empty, obviously. So what we're going to need to do, let's go ahead and clear the screen, is we need to make some HTML files in the templates folder. Okay? So we're going to make a few HTML files. Let's see here. We're going to let's see, touch. The command to make a file is with touch and then the file name with the extension. So we're going to make a base.html folder. Then we're going to make an index.html folder. Then we're also going to make an about.html folder. And then we're going to make an advert.html folder. And finally, we're going to make one more. That's going to be the test.html folder. All right, and then we're going to press enter. Now, if we do a list or an ls, we should see all those newly created folders that we just made. And there we go. All right, now, so from here, let me go ahead and explain this. All of our folders, all of our HTML files will be handled and controlled from one file. That'll be, you can name it whatever you want to, but in this case we're going to call it the base file. Okay, some people call it the layout file or the layout HTML or the base HTML file. From this file we're going to control all HTML content for the rest of these files, for about, advert, home or index, and the text. Okay, I'll show you how we do that. So again, once you've created those files, what you want to do is, starting with the base file first, we're going to go ahead and open that up with our favorite text editor, right? And for me, that's going to be nano space and then the base file, and then I just press enter. Alright, so we're starting off new with a new file, right? So to go ahead and save us time, I already have everything that we need installed on that file in another file. So give me a moment. I'm going to copy and paste it. Then I'm going to come back over here, and then I'm going to paste it right in here. Let's see here, it should be there, and then we are going to go back up, and there we go. So this is our base HTML file for all of our other files. We're not going to really go over it too much, okay, because in previous videos, especially the first video, if you're not familiar with HTML, go ahead and go to my first video, and I've provided links for how to learn and get familiar with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, as well as how to install and download Python and how to learn Python. But This is just a regular HTML file, and the reason why this is considered the base file is because, as we said earlier, this will be the file that controls all of your other HTML files. And we do that with a template. It is considered a template. It is called Jinja. It is a Python template creator, for lack of a better term. And it's pronounced, I believe it's pronounced Jinja. I may be saying it wrong. But that's a template engine that's created when you install Python Flask. It's a Python Flask template creator. And so the way it works is that you use, this is the syntax. You got the squiggly brackets, then you got the percentage sign, and then you type in block space and then whatever you're trying to put in it. This would be similar to an HTML tag, except this is the syntax that you would use for using Jinja. And I apologize, I can't explain it no better than that. I can't pronounce it no better than that. But anyway, this is Jinja code, or Jinja template code. Okay? And so you got this. Like I said, it starts with squiggly bracket, percentage sign, then space, then you will type in block, and then whatever it is you're trying to write a template for, which for us is going to be title, space, and then you have the percentage sign and then the closing squiggly bracket, right? And then right here, this is the title for an HTML, which is in the head. And then this is where we're going to put the title for the web page. All right. And that's for all web pages, whether it's the home page, about page, or the contact page. This is where each template is going to have its own, or each website is going to have its own title page. And then we go ahead and close it with the end block space title. Now, since Flask, or since Python 3.2 or 3.3 or 3.4, we are able to use this type of syntax. So it's going to be block and then the name that you want to name it. You can name it whatever you want to name it. And then end block, and then for conventions and for simplicity, you can name it the same thing. Now, let's go on with another example. This right here is also Jinja syntax. All right, and it starts off just like the above. It starts off with the squiggly bracket, the percentage sign, and then you'll see block, right? And then this right here is link, and then percentage sign and closing squiggly bracket. And then the reason why we got that, because this link right here is a link to your CSS page, or your CSS file. And this is just a reference link. It goes like this: style sheet href equals, and then we got to put this in. This is a Python function right here. And what this does is that it references this folder, which is the folder name of static. That's the one we created earlier. You'll need this in order for this website to reference the static page, which has this file name of a CSS file named style1. Okay, and then we close that block. That's the Jinja. Jinja is spelled Jinja. Juliet, Indian, November, Juliet, Alpha. That's how you spell it phonetically. Okay, and then as we go further down, we got a style HTML tag and a style close HTML tag, and then we got a style code in here. All right, and if you don't understand how to read CSS code, as I said, go to my first video, and that will go ahead and show you how to create and implement CSS code. But as you go, you keep going further down, you'll see I've got Jinja syntax in a lot of different places, right? I got an open container block container and a close block container. All right, and then of course this is the HTML syntax in between that. So all in all, the reason for creating a Jinja template, that's Python Flask way of implementing Python code into our HTML file. That's the whole point of this. We will explain in a little bit, give me just a little bit, we will go ahead and explain why you would want to do that. But as I scroll down, you'll see the rest of this code here, which is HTML code, and it has Jinja template code throughout the whole thing. I will go ahead and include this information in the video description, and you can go ahead and look at it and study it. I apologize if I'm not explaining it very clearly, but it's just an HTML document, and like I said, the whole purpose of this document is to be able to control the other HTML files from this one document. We will explain that in just a moment here. So let me go ahead and close this document. First I'll save it. Save it, and then we will go ahead and exit out of it. Okay. Now, here's the significance of doing this. All the other codes are going to be very simple and very easy to read and look at. So let's go ahead. Let's start with index. You're going to do nano index and then press enter. Okay. Now, give me a moment. We're going to go ahead and go over this in one moment. Now, here's the beauty of using Python Flask to serve your web pages. Let me go ahead and paste that on here. This is our first page. This is the index home page. This is this is all the information you need for this code, right? You just need to reference the base code or the base.html code that we just created before, and then to reference that the base.html file, what we do is we create more Jinja syntax with the block space content code like this, and then we put in whatever we want, right, for that website to show. And as you can see right here, we have this right here is a variable, all right, and I'll show you how to access this variable and put in what you want. But this will be the variable that we use to access our Python application and put in whatever name we want. We're going to put in, for this name, it's going to show homepage. Homepage. And then this right here, this is also Jinja content or syntax. This is where we put in our Python variable of whatever information we're going to put in. And I'll show you how that looks later. And then we're going to just end that Jinja code. I hope that is easily understandable for you. What we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and save this file, and then we're going to go ahead and exit out. And now the next one we're going to do is going to be test. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to get test, and I'm going to do the same thing. We're just going to copy this information over and we're going to paste it. Now, it's basically the same thing. The test.html file will be referencing the base file. Okay, and that base file will have all of the content that test.html needs to show its information on there. Don't worry. I know it looks like a little bit more stuff, but basically it's the same thing as what we put in the index.html file. We're just adding a little bit more HTML content, right? But if you learned HTML, this is all going to be simple HTML syntax, and then we have the open syntax for Jinja, the block content, and then we have the end block content. Okay, that's all we need right there. We're going to save that, then we're going to exit out of that. Okay, and now we're going to do the about page. And then I'm going to come over here and copy that page as well. Give me a few moments. And then we're going to go ahead and paste it. And same thing. We're referencing the base page, the base.html page, and then right here we're putting in whatever HTML information we want to put in for the title, and then from here this is going to reference everything from the base page. So whatever's on the base page is going to come in, and it's going to show up right here between these two Jinja syntaxes. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and save it, and then we're going to go ahead and exit, and then let's see, I believe we have one more, and that's going to be the advert. So we're going to go ahead and get that. Then we're going to come over and we are going to copy and paste that as well. And we're going to go ahead and put that in our advert page. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and save that. And then we're going to go ahead and exit out. Okay. Now let's clear the screen. Alright, let's do a list, and all of our pages should be built and configured. So to look at them real quick, we're just going to do a quick a look at all of the pages just to make sure all of them have been configured and created correctly. So cat just means concatenate, and it just means open up the content in a file. So we're going to look at about page. We just did that one, but we're going to look at it anyway. Okay, good. That one is created correctly. And now we're just going to do the next one, which is advert. Okay, that one's good. And let's see. We're going to look at the next one, which is, let's see. We don't need to do index. We do need to do index. We don't need to do base. Alright, index is done good. Alright, and then the last one is going to be test. And test is configured correctly. Alright, so we've configured all these correctly. Now we only got to do a few more things. Let's go ahead and change directory out of this back into our main folder. Now from here, what we want to do, let's do an ls. We want to go ahead and switch over to the static page, or the static folder that has nothing in it. And from here, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and create the CSS folder. And so to go ahead and do that with your favorite text editor, you just type in NaNo, and then we are going to create, I believe the name was style1.css. And give me a moment. Yes, that was the name. And let's go ahead and press enter. And now I'm going to take this information from here, and I'm going to go ahead and copy that information. And then I'm going to go ahead and paste it in here. Alright, and as I've said previously, if you're not familiar with CSS code, then I would suggest that you look at my first video. In that video, I have reference to some videos and some content that will show you how to learn CSS code. So this is that code from there. Everything from here references the base sheet as far as the body of the HTML code, and then it references the container, the content, the headers, and so on. So from here we just go ahead and save it, and then we're going to exit it out. Okay. And so we got it going from there, and so now we are done. And as we said earlier, in our base folder, in our base.html file, that has a reference link to the static folder. So all of our HTML files reference. Let's go back real quick. Summarize cd templates. Oops, hold on. I get out of static. Now cd to templates. Okay. So all of our other files, the index, the tests, advert, and about, references all of its content through the base.html file. And that file references the CSS content from the static file, from the static folder that has the CSS content in it. And give me one more moment, because also in the static file, in the static folder, what we need to create is a folder for the images, because we did create images and we want that to show up in the static file as well, in the static folder. I keep saying file, but I really mean static folder. And so what we need to do is create an image folder. So it's mkdir space, and then it's going to be images. Okay, and then that's how we do that there. Now we want to go ahead, and from here we want to go ahead and create, we want to go ahead and add in our images. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a transfer from my images to this server. And the easiest way for you to do that would be to use a file server or a client file server. I'm using an internal SSH server. So give me a moment, and I will have that information uploaded for you. Shouldn't take too long. Okay, and I'm putting in my password. Alright, and then what I need to do is I need to find that folder, which should be easy enough since I just created it. Alright, give me a moment. So we're going to change, we're in our server again, and we're going to go ahead and change into that folder. We'll press clear. And as you can see, there's nothing in that folder. We did a quick list. So give me a moment and I will move the images into that folder. Okay, they have been moved into the folder. So let's do another ls and you should see them. And there we go. I have 2 images in there. All right, so we're good to go. Let's go ahead and get out of that, and then we'll get out of static. Okay, and now as far as I know, we only have one more application or folder that we need to modify, and that will be myapp.py. This is where you put all of your information that you want to show up on all the other websites. So to explain that, let's go ahead and open up MyPy with our favorite text editor. Mine is Nano. You can open up with your whatever yours is and press enter. All right. Now, this code is going to be changed and remodified. So give me a moment. And I am going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and copy this information, and then I'm going to go ahead and put it in here. We need to get rid of all this content. And we're going to leave everything else, and then we're going to paste in the new content. Okay, this is the new content. We'll go over it real quickly. Now, in order to reference all of your HTML documents and files, this is where we go ahead and type in the function name render_template. And then from here, it will go ahead and reference that template folder with all of the HTML files that we just created. As well as there's one more we want to put in there. And give me a moment. Okay, that's going to be URL_4. And the reason why we do that is so that the static folder for the CSS page, this is what we need so that we can include that with the static page. And basically, other than adding in these 2 functions right here, this stays the same. This still references our application, our application name, myapp.py or myapp.py. That's what this does. This references this application name, for lack of a better term. Now, we do have some more added content below that. The decorator here stays the same. Okay, this is the decorator for the home page or the index file. Here's the name of our index file function name, which is, I just named it index. You can name it whatever you want to. And then we changed the command a little bit. We have return, and then we reference the, again, we're going to need to reference the template folder where we have the HTML files. So that's what this Python command is. This is render template. It's a function. And then within that function, we have several parameters. Number 1, we're referencing the index file itself. And then we can add on some parameters, and which are actually what do you call them? Variables. And as we seen earlier, we had the title variable, and that's for the title page. And in that, we put in the string value. This says home page. right? And then we had another variable called page, and in that we had the string values stating my home page. And then we had one other string variable, and that had a value that said this is my home page, right? The same thing with the about page. We have the decorator, we have the function name about, and then we have the syntax return, and this references the template folder, as we said earlier, and that's a function, a Python function, and then within that we got several parameters. We referenced the about.html file or page, and then we have a variable with a value of that says about page, and then we have several other variables with their values, and all this is going to show up in the about HTML document. Okay, same thing for contacts, right? The content may be a little different, but the way you do the syntax is all going to be the same, right? And so with this Python application, you can reference all of your web pages. And then, of course, we have advert and test. And then, of course, this conditional if statement down here, this is the same. We all recognize this from previous videos, right? And so that's all you really need to do, and then you just go ahead and save it, and then you exit out, right? And so now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and start our server. Well, let's just go ahead and type it in. Let me see, I'm still in, yeah, so we type in Python 3 space and then my app, and then we press enter. That starts the server, and then we go ahead and we open up our folder, or our browser. And what we want to do is we want to go back to the start and go start from the home page, right? And then we're going to press enter. All right, and there's our page right there. Got a little ugly picture right there, and this is our home page, as we can see from here. And here's the content, and then from here we've got our links, right? This is our navigation links right here, and then from here we can go to the about page, the contact page, the advert page, and the test page. Here is our about page, our content here. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Looks like the contact page has an error on it. We'll look at that in a second. Here's my advert page, and that's working. All right, and there's the test page, and that's working as well, and it has content on it. Now let's go back and look at our our contact page. Let's go ahead and stop the server. All right. Now let's see, what problem is it having with the contact page? A lot of times, if you're looking for the information on what the problem is with an issue, if you look at the error you find in your web server, a lot of times it'll tell you what the issue is. And it looks like here it says the template for the contact page is not found. So let's clear the page here. Let's do a ls. Let's change over to our templates. Let's do an ls. Look at there. We didn't create the contact page. That's why it doesn't have any information on it. So let's create it real quick. We'll do a touch space contact.html, enter, and then we will do a nano contact, press enter. Alright, and then we will come over here. Looks like we did forget the contact page. We will go ahead and put that information in. Paste, and then we will go ahead and save it, and then we will exit out. Then we will come out of templates. Alright, we are back, and then we want to go ahead and start our development server again. Alright, and then we want to bring our browser back up. Then we want to hit the refresh button, and there we go. We have our contact page up and running. Okay, so I know that was a very long video. I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me, but there was a lot of stuff to do. I don't know if anybody complained or not, but that was the reason why in all of my other videos I tried to make them short, because you know it's a lot of content to look at and to go over. But anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you for hanging in there with me. I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a good day. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you guys have a good day. Bye-bye.